recognized symbol of excellence for your entertainment.
Here is Devo!
Welcome to Machino Music Music, a show that puts the music in Machino music, with your host, me, Brett Strong. Today on Machino Music Music, it's Devo, top 10 songs. Now it can be told the truth about de-evolution. We're all Devo! Good afternoon, everybody. Devo, top 10 songs. That's what we're doing here today, doing another Devo show. Been wanting to do another Devo show. Been kind of been back on a bit of a Devo kick lately, because big deal. Saturday Night Live 50th anniversary just happened, just not long ago, as of this recording. And really big, Devo actually came back into the Saturday Night Live world. They'd been banned since 1978. They had the homecoming concert, the 50th anniversary homecoming concert at Radio City Music Hall on the Friday night preceding the Saturday night on Sunday night, anniversary show. And fantastic to see Devo featured on such a big stage and also back on Saturday Night Live. Because they're one of the few bands from the early days that is really still around. I mean, there's original members. I mean, Alan Myers passed away, the original drummer. Bob Casale, he passed away. So, not the full original band, but sitting in on drums, they had Fred Armisen, who was a part of that. That was his whole scene, the punk new wave scene. He played in a punk band. So, and they played like one of the most punk Devo songs, Uncontrollable Urge, which is really surprising. That spoiler, a Stanley spoiler, that's not on my list, although it is a fantastic song. I thought they would play Satisfaction, because that was a song they played when they were on Saturday Night Live, but they did Uncontrollable Urge, so cool, and Fred Armisen playing the drums with them, that was just awesome. He fits right in, he could be in Devo. I dug out this is the Devo jacket from the Radiation suit. I'm going to put this on. Yes. Oh, here we go. There. I'm putting this on. I'll wear this for some of the episode. It's going to be noisy. That's the only thing I might not leave it on. Actually, I'm going to take this off because it's noisy. But I have the Devo jacket. But there you go. Really cool. So it's great to see Devo sort of back, a bit of Devo kick. So I thought, let's do Devo top 10 songs. Now, these are my favorite songs. Didn't hear your favorite song? That's cool. Don't worry about it. These are my favorites. Devo have so many great songs. So let's get right into it here. Coming at number 10 from Total Devo, their cover of Don't Be Cruel. I always dug this. What a great cover. See, Devo was one of those bands. They just took these songs and just made them into a thing that was like, sometimes unrecognizable, that song. That's what they did with Satisfaction. And kind of, I guess, when they did on Saturday Night Live, and why they chose to do that version of Satisfaction on Saturday Night Live is because the Rolling Stones had been the musical guest a week before, and they thought, what's like the biggest statement we can make? Like, who is Devo? They did Jocko Homo, which is the Devo anthem. Not the Devo corporate anthem, but it's really like the Devo anthem. When they did Satisfaction, that kind of really summed up Devo, taking the band that just kind of had one of the biggest bands in the world, one of the greatest rock and roll songs ever, Satisfaction by the Rolling Stones, and doing that version. But this version of Don't Be Cruel is taking another rock and roll classic, Elvis Presley, and just making it totally out there, totally weird. And I just love it. It's like Gerald Casale doing his best Elvis Presley impression. For years I thought that was Mark, but I believe it's Jerry doing that. It's so great. Dig it. Yeah. Love their cover of Don't Be Cruel. Next up from Oh No It's Devo, Big Mess. Just love the synthesizer on this. What a great tune. What a great song that is. One of the first songs I heard by Devo. I thought, wow, I really dig this. Really cool. So you had to have that. Coming in number 8. I do have Jocko Homo on my list. Just mentioned it. But this is a specific version. The live version from the live album Now It Can Be Told. Devo Live at the Palace. That version is fantastic. It's turned into a ballad, like a country ballad. And Mark Mothersbaugh's voice on it, man, wow! I remember hearing that, like, when I was like, really started getting into Devo, and he's really like, wow, he has a great voice. I mean, this dude can sing. And I love how he just turned into a total ballad. And never did anything else like this ever again. But again, it's so Devo. Like, why not? You know, like we were, like, let's not like speed it up or anything, or let's just slow it down completely and put like a country music vibe on it. I mean, it's just so like out of the box, which Devo really kind of was all about. Just changing the game, flipping the script, and yeah, I just love this cover. And Mark Mothersbaugh's voice, so great. So yeah, and that's actually my favorite live album of all time, Devo Live at the Palace. So yeah, that one had to be on here. Love that version of Jocko Homo. Coming in number 7. Again, these are not ranked. I should say that too. They're numbered. But number 7, from Duty Now for the Future, which I think is my favorite Devo album. The Day My Baby Gave Me a Surprise. This is such a fun song. Got a bit of a maybe a bit of a punk vibe to it, but it's so totally new wave. I think the Duty Now for the Future album is when they truly started to sound like Devo. Like, okay, here they are. This is this thing we're calling new wave, and I think that's the album where they really like became the new wave band that they are, and the new wave, like the pioneers. I mean, the first to really kind of do it and just make it a thing. Like the quintessential new wave band. The Day My Baby Gave Me a Surprise is just like a great tune. Dig it. Actually, I've heard that the lyrics can kind of be interpreted. Like I always think it's like a guy getting a Dear John letter or a John Deere letter. But his girl's leaving him. But then it could also be, you know, maybe they're having a baby. And has a flying baby in the music video. So, I mean, it I guess it could be interpreted a couple different ways. I thought, like, the girl was leaving him. Like, that's how I always sort of interpreted the song. But anyway, it's great. Dig it. Such a fun song. All right, next up. Number 6. Boogie Boy's Funeral from Hardcore Volume 2. The Hardcore albums. Some of the most punk Devo ever got. I mean, you're going to call them a punk band. Listen to those Hardcore albums. I mean, they're total punk albums. And I mean, they're still like Devo, like sort of new wave, synthesizers and everything. Synthesizer, syphilis. But there's a little bit of that. But it's mainly just like very raw sounding. And Boogie Boy's Funeral is total new wave. It's all synthesizer. And I'm telling you, I want this played at my funeral. I'm going to put that in writing. And if my brother goes before me, I'm playing it at his funeral. He'd be cool with that. It's just, oh man. I mean, Boogie Boy was, of course, the character played by Mark Mothersbaugh of the Baby Mask. Yeah. And he dies in one of their concert videos. So they created this song that he sung. And there was actually a version where he sung lyrics to it. There's like this other version, like Tunnel of Life, which is like coming through the birth canal. He's the Tunnel of Life. So there's the alternate version with lyrics, but Boogie Boys Funeral, just the instrumental original, so good, love it. All right, next up. Whoa, this is really staticky. My arm hair is like sticking up. This is like one of those things you put your hand on, almost at the science center, and it makes your hair stick up. This is exactly what this Devo coat's like. Wow. Just feel this energy coursing through my arm. But coming up next, also from Hardcore Volume 2, Dogs of Democracy. I love this song. It's a very strange song, but I just love the vibe. I love the sort of that guitar groove on it, and the bass groove is really cool. Again, this is hardcore Devo. This is the rawest of the raw. Very raw song. Got Mark Mothersbaugh singing Bone Sweet Bone at the end. It's a very strange song, but I love it. Actually, I think I'm probably the only person ever in the history of radio to play that song on their radio program. I'll pat myself on the back for that. I think I made history on the radio, my old radio show, and it was by playing that song. So there you go. That's my lame claim to fame, and I'm very proud of that. But yeah, Dogs of Democracy from Hardcore Volume 2. Love that song. Next up from New Traditionalists, which is, I think after Duty Now for the Future, New Traditionalists of the album were like, okay, this is Devo. This is new wave. And the song Pity You. Such a cool song. Love this song from the moment I heard it. Got great synthesizer. I have a hard time saying that word today. But I just love it. It's got a cool guitar riff on it. Oh, so good. And actually, Tony Basil has her own version of this song called You Got a Problem. Tony Basil, I mean, it's her first record. I believe it's her first record. She had another record called Word of Mouth, which is like a lost Devo album. Mark Mothersbaugh, Gerald Casale, and Bob Mothersbaugh appear on the album and actually contributed to some songs. So that's a lost Devo album. So definitely check out the Tony Basil. If you only know Mickey by Tony Basil, listen to more Tony Basil. She's so fantastic. And actually, just a little fun fact here, the show we have here, the Robin B. Danielle hosted Robin's Retroactive Reviews, that's a Tony Basil tune. That's the opening theme song for that. That's a loop of a Tony Basil tune called Over My Head. So there you go. Lots of new wave aesthetics and things and stuff going on here at Machino Music. Subtle. We love that style of music here. But yeah, I love Pity You. Such a great song. Next up from Shout, from the Shout album, Puppet Boy. This is just I always liked this song. I just love the intro, like, wake up, Puppet Boy. And then it's just this kind of really upbeat, like, where was that in an 80s movie? Come on. Whether it makes sense with what you're doing anyway, where is that in an 80s movie? Is there like a remake of like Pinocchio that we can get that in or something? Not that I want there to be another remake of Pinocchio. I mean, the 1940 version is perfect. That's my favorite Disney movie ever. But come on, if we're gonna it's gonna happen. Disney already did it with that one where Tom Hanks plays Geppetto. That was a piece of poo. But let's have some fun. Let's change it up. Let's get Puppet Boy in like a Pinocchio remake or something. It's gotta happen because it never happened in the 80s. It should have been an 80s movie. It's so perfect. The character getting up, I could totally hear it as something like, like 3 o'clock high. Guy racing to school. Wake up, Puppet Boy, and he's racing to get to school. It never happened. What a big unnecessary rant there. But it's a great song. I love Puppet Boy. All right, we're in the top 2, everybody. Not that these are ranked, but you get the idea. From Oh No It's Devo, Gotta Have Speed Racer. This is such a strange song, so funny. It's all these different characters and their sort of their problems. You got the pirate who likes to drink and he likes to kill. You got the Barbie doll. She's got brains and she likes sex. Although there's a version of a Marx Brothers boss says the other word. So funny. They couldn't put that on the record, but I'm going to sing it that way live. So good. Should just take that out and put that in the Barbie movie. That would have been fantastic. But I love that. Yeah, I love Speed Racer. All these characters. Nothing to do with Speed Racer. Like, you couldn't have used it in the Speed Racer movie because, you know, you just take the I'm Speed Racer and I drive real fast, which is like one part of the song, and then the rest of it is just completely insane. Yeah. So, yeah, love Speed Racer. But my number one, this might be controversial, because I think this, I mean, these aren't ranked or anything, but I don't know. This is like my favorite Devo song ever. I've always loved this song from the moment I heard it. From Shout, Don't Rescue Me. I just love this song. It's always stuck with me. Before I even really knew what the song was even called, I just kind of heard it. My brother got the Shout album and was listening to it, and I heard this one song. Like, what is this song? I love that with the echo thing. Out of control. I love that. And the effects on that little digity kind of digital diarrhea sound on the synthesizer. So good. I just love everything about Don't Rescue Me. I actually had this movie's never going to get made when I'm talking about it right now. I was going to do a buddy cop movie at one point in time. I don't know why I'm telling you this. But so I was going to do a buddy cop movie at one point in time. And I thought if I could have one song playing over the end credits of this movie, it would be Don't Rescue Me. It'd be so fantastic. I could just see it and hear it being so great. But that's never going to happen. It's lost media. It's dead. It's gone. That movie. But I just love Don't Rescue Me. I mean, Shout, I mean, say what you want. I think I ranked it a little too high on my Devo album ranking. I got a bit of an earful from some people about that, but, it's all in good fun, though. But I think why Shout sort of ranks a little bit higher for me is because of Don't Rescue Me. I just love that song. And also it has Puppet Boy on there. It's another one I think that maybe helps it go a little bit higher for me. But yeah, I don't know, something about Don't Rescue Me I always really, really like. So there you go. My 10 favorite Devo songs. Like I said at the top, I'm back on a bit of a Devo kick. Just seeing them on the Saturday Night Live 50th anniversary homecoming concert was just such a, wow. B-52s were also there. But they'd been around Saturday Night Live, so you had to kind of, at other times. And it's just but more just to see Devo back on Saturday Night Live was just wow. And having Fred Armisen, great cast member, big Devo fan, part of that whole, they're really into that whole thing, the punk new wave scene, and just seeing him, I'm which is so great. So I've been back on a bit of a Devo kick, so I decided to do this show. My 10 favorite Devo songs. If you didn't hear your favorite song, that's perfectly okay. That's cool. Don't worry about it. They're my 10 favorites. And if you're a Devo fan, I hope you enjoyed this. That's it for this week. Until we meet again, this is Brett Strong saying good journey.